Okay, hello everyone. This is a presentation on IREIT Global based off its presentation slides on 26 September 2022. Okay, please note I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Right, I may make mistakes in the presentation. Please do not make investment decisions just based off this information. Right. Okay, so it's a European focused Singapore listed REIT. Right, 5 offices in Germany, 5 offices in Spain, 27 retail properties in France, right? And it's backed by two strong sponsors: City Development, a leading global real estate company in Singapore, and Tikehau Capital, a global alternative asset management group listed in France, right? So they make 90% of their income distributable semi-annually. Right, so this shows how they grow, right, from 4 assets somewhere here to 37 assets here, right, and I think this is where CDL came in. Alright, so anyway, we'll look at their composition by country. Alright, so as at 2021, you can see they only have Germany and Spain. I believe it's all office. Now they added the retail component from France, right, so there's a greater diversification. Right, so as you can see here, purely office to some retail. Now occupancy is pretty good at 95%. Right, you can see that generally pretty good occupancy, 95%, 95%, 100%. Spain is a bit low, 87.5%. Right, they mostly seem to have blue chip based tenants, right? So this is clearly a big company. This one also largest statutory pension insurance company, right? This is a large sporting goods retailer and so on and so forth, right? So it looks like they lease to a lot of blue chip companies. Alright, so yeah, this is their income. Okay, long leases with a number of blue chip companies. So they mention blue chip quite often in their slides. Right, so the debt, I think this is one of the things that is good. They don't have any debt to refinance until 2026. Alright, and they actively manage interest rate and foreign exchange exposure by adopting strategic hedging policies to minimize risk-adjusted returns. Right, using interest swaps, interest rate caps to hedge interest rate on borrowing. Right, and euro-denominated borrowing as a natural hedge to match the currency assets and cash flow at property level. Right, so later I'll look at a little bit of what AK71 has to say. One of the reasons why I'm looking at this REIT is AK71. Right, so this is directly taken from Singapore Stock Investors Blogspot, alright, dated 16 September. Alright, so he says that most of IREIT's leases are linked to CPI and high inflation leads to higher rental income. Right, some others are reviewed once cumulative inflation exceeds 10% threshold. So it seems like their rental has some link to CPI and inflation data. So in this high interest rate, rather the high inflation environment, it appears that their leases should revise outwards as well. Alright, so higher interest rates will not affect their cost of doing business as their debt is fully hedged until late 2026, right? So I think AK must have done some deep reading to know this. Alright, unlike most S-REIT, they only pay out 90%, right? At this point he seems to be unconcerned about it. Alright, yeah, so this is some vacancy, right? He is quite confident, but of course with the situation in Europe being as such, it looks like they are going into some possible recession. Okay, low gearing is good, numbers are strong, right? Even if DPU drops, he estimates probably you can get 6.5 to 6.3. Alright, so he thinks under 50% is cheap. Alright, yeah, so this AK's opinion on IREIT. Of course, please don't invest just based off his analysis. Alright, please do your own. Alright, yeah, so there are two strong sponsors, which is a good thing. Alright, macro wise, yeah, the hybrid flexi working arrangement may drop office demand. Alright, and of course things like high inflation, financing costs, war in Ukraine, these are normal things that I think everyone is worried about these days. Right, I think this was mentioned by AK, right, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Right, so expiring, see whether they can replace this guy. Right, so yeah, that's all I have for IREIT Global. I think the main concern is that they are in Germany, mainly in Germany, and the rest are in Europe. And I think Germany is, as far as I understand, quite significantly affected by the Ukraine-Russia war. Alright, so and there's a concern that with winter coming, the Germans may have to prioritize heating over production, which means that their economy may suffer badly if they don't have enough power, right? So because if people cannot heat themselves at home, they're obviously going to stop the factories to save lives, alright, and that may affect the German economy quite badly, right? So this winter will be a key risk area for IREIT Global. Right, with that, that's the end of the presentation.